Hey guys, welcome back to Critics Play Games. My name is Zach. This is Leo as well. We are both film critics who play games, and we are missing one part of us because Christian, he doesn't have a Switch. He doesn't like playing Switches, apparently.
Come on, Christian, get on it,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, but we're the cool guys who actually have a Switch and decided to get Metroid Dread, which was probably one of the big highlights of E3 this year. Look at that. You got it right there. I got it behind me.
Hell yeah.
We got a lot of cool things to hear. Leo, introduce yourself real fast. What's your favorite Switch game right before we get into this? I'm just curious.
Oh, man. Well, what's going on, guys? I'm Leo. I'm over on Geekly Goods on YouTube. And favorite Switch game. Look, there have been so many to come out since then, but honestly, it is Breath of the Wild. Just having an open world Zelda experience is something that I think most big time Zelda fans have dreamt their entire life of. So yeah, I'm still riding that high.
Yeah.
Man.
You're not wrong though. That's one of the best. Like when I got that game, I was so obsessive over it for like that entire next year. And then Super Mario Odyssey came out and that was great. Right now for me, I mean, it's probably Smash Brothers Ultimate is like my favorite Switch game. I just love that fighting game so much.
You playing Sora yet?
Dude, I haven't started Sora yet. I've been hooked on this game. This is what I've been playing, man. Awesome. And I'm afraid to take the thing out because I save and stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to that's the great thing about the Switch, what we'll discuss in a bit. But let's play the intro. Let's roll that thing going, and then we'll dive into our thoughts on Metroid Dread. We're back. Thank you so much for enjoying that intro music. We got the Nintendo, the Xbox, the PlayStation, all sorts of things in there. So, Leo, let's kick off this review. I think when it comes down to Metroid Dread, the story picks up a couple years after, or directly after the last side-scrolling Metroid, which I never played. I don't know about you.
I want to say it's a couple years after the last side scroller. I haven't played the last one, but I played a good amount of them. And honestly, to be real with you, the story doesn't really require you to know that much Metroid lore to really enjoy.
And it recaps it pretty good in the beginning, I would say, kind of letting you know, okay, this is where it's going, this is where it's at, this is where we're starting. And when it comes to the side scrolling, because the only Metroid that I've really invested myself in is the first person shooter ones, 1, 2, and 3, which I thought were great.
So good. Those Prime games. Oh
yeah, and the side scrolling here is something that I was looking forward to because again, big surprise coming out of Nintendo Directs at the E3 this year, and we're like, what is this game? It looked scary, it looked intense, and all that lived up to it. I don't know about you, but I thought it lived up overall.
Oh man, to be honest with you, this has been stuck in development hell since about 2005, 2006. And it was supposed to be a follow-up game to a Nintendo DS Metroid game. So it's supposed to come out I'm talking OG DS. I'm not talking DS Lite, DSi, none of that. I'm talking the OG Nintendo DS 2005 dinosaur level technology at this point. It was supposed to come out back then. So when I heard about another side-scrolling Metroid game, oh my God, I was like, that's it, Nintendo. You don't have to tell me another peep. They gave us that. They gave us a little drop, y'all, of Breath of the Wild 2. And I thought that those two things alone were enough to make their Direct one of the best things of E3.
Yeah, because E3 was weak this year. I think we've talked about how weak it was.
And it's been weak the last few years. It's kind of unfortunate that COVID did really put a damper in the in-person production that they usually are able to pull off. Yeah. But at the same time, things like DC Fandom, PlayStation, they have their own streams. Nintendo's got the Directs. It has opened up the opportunities for every single studio to really put on their own presentation and put in their own really bake in their own graphics and upcoming games and really just kind of diversify
makes it unique to itself. You know what I mean? And it always makes it's cool. We get these random events throughout the year instead of just waiting for one part of the year. And they've been really pushing this game for a while, ever since it was announced. And I wasn't gonna buy it first day, and then you bought it before me, and you're like, "This is the real deal." And I'm like,
"Yep,
all right." And
first
I got back
day,
from New York.
baby.
First thing I went and did, I went to GameStop and I got the last copy. They said this game has been sold out almost everywhere. Really? I've seen it starting to trickle into a lot of stores near me, but every time I go to a store, it's not there. So the fact that it's selling good is good. But I do, and I will reckon this. This year hasn't been huge for gaming. This is probably my favorite game I've played in 2021, though. As of right now, I mean, there's still a couple more to come out, Halo and whatnot, but for the amount of time that I've just thought about this game, I can't stop thinking about it. I'm actually taking my Switch places again and playing it in there. And I think let's just start the gameplay, dude. Again, we've discussed it is very intense when you have to fight those Emi robots that just follow you
Oh
through.
my God, dude.
And they kick your ass. Like you can block them that one time, then after that, that's it.
Honestly, and I'll be honest with you, the timing mechanism of blocking these EMMI robots is like not friendly at all. It's
No.
like,
But
honestly, I think I
get it
achieved
down
it.
though. I feel like it's pretty good. Like the parrying of it
Okay,
all.
because I'm like, dude, I still be messing up. Like I'll
I do
be
too.
completely 1000% with
Yeah.
you. Probably out of 10 tries, I probably get it about 4 or 5, which is okay.
Yeah.
But like some people, I look up some YouTube videos and I'm like, some of y'all are pulling it off damn near every time. But the robot just stuns itself, and it's not as if it's like, okay, like you get an extra point or you get an extra, like, no,
you get
a chance to get the hell away.
Out.
Yeah,
but this is what the game reminds me of, man. It reminds me back when I was a kid and I'd play these side scrollers.
Yeah,
and what it harkens back is, remember those games you'd play as a kid and you'd probably never beat? Like, games have been way easier throughout the years, but this harkens back to the days where you probably would never beat a game, but it's still a blast to go through and play.
All of the Metroid games, period.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I haven't beat one Metroid, but I have gone through them. They're a blast to play. They're hard. So this is not anything new to the Metroid franchise, but look, I gotta say something about the gameplay real quick. I'm gonna be this guy, be this dude, play a little devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
I got a little question for you, Nintendo. If this was stuck in development hell since 2005, what I'm wondering is, okay, Sonic Generations was able to smoothly make a pretty seamless transition between first person and the side scrolling in their game. How come Metroid couldn't do it? I'm just look, I'm okay with the side scrolling, but I'm like, we couldn't get like a couple features where we turn that camera and
that would have been cool. Because this is very classic. I mean, this is very classic. And I think the most advanced thing in the game are probably the Emis. I mean, honestly, out of all, I mean, the graphics are pretty good, but I will say this game runs way better on a handheld than playing it on a TV. Because when I dock it to play, I prefer playing on the handheld, which is usually the complete opposite of when it comes down to most Switch games. So it's very interesting to see how the docking experience is so different from that. But even with that, I mean, that's like a minor nitpick. I don't really care about that. Like, I think the gameplay is smooth and flawless and just runs really good.
I haven't had any glitches, no slip ups.
And I love how the game doesn't hold your hand. A lot of it is exploration, going back and forth, trying to go, and then you'll run around and get a new ability, and you're like, oh wait, I can go back through this and go through this area now. And then you go through this area, and then you find a boss, and then the boss is like fucking badass and kicks your ass every single time. And then once you finally beat it, you're like, oh, that was great. Or like when you finally defeat an Emi, you're like, I can finally breathe. Yeah, it gives me vibes of Alien Isolation, if anyone ever played that game, where the alien consistently follows you throughout the entire game. Dread holds that. Yeah, and Metroid Dread lives up to the title.
It is very dreadful, and it's creepy, and it's weird, and it has a lot of horror elements, like jump scares. And let me tell you guys, when that EMMI robot is crawling up to you and you're trying your hardest to aim specifically right at the little dot in the middle of his head, it becomes a real horror.
And I remember, I don't know if you got the ability yet, because I know you're a little bit behind me, I think, at this point now because of the bot. But there's a part with have you gotten the invisibility yet, or no?
No, I haven't.
So there's a part where you get the invisibility and you can hide from the Emis. But the thing is, if it runs into you, it'll still fucking kill you. So there's a part where I got stuck where I had to go back around the Emi, and I'm crawling down, kept dying from it, couldn't block it anymore. And I'm like, okay, I'm invisible. And every time the fucking thing would run around and touch me, and I'm like, God damn it. But the thing I give this game is, while that frustration can be annoying, it's fun.
Yeah. It's not easy.
No, and I can't stop playing the game. I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop recommending it, man. Like, this is just a freaking great game. And it's like very low tech. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it is a very big harkening back to the old days of side scrollers.
Yeah, but it doesn't require, like, the graphics, the movability, the gameplay. A lot of the things don't require what feels like a lot of heavy lifting in some of the games that we're used to nowadays, you know, in terms of open world environments and first person environments, and just even games that are still pretty self-contained within the world, but you can still explore and get around. Where there's still parameters, but like kind of like Miles Morales and things like that. Like, games are so intricate now. This feels kind of like a breath of fresh air because it's not. It's
breath.
kind of just like, okay, I'm going from one place to another. I've got a mission. I got to figure it out myself because there's not like a huge walkthrough in the beginning. They're kind of just like, drop you
Here
in.
You go.
All right, you know what you're doing.
Hey,
do your thing.
You know, and it's all about learning. You learn. And the big games around this day and age that are kind of like that, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Sekiro. It's all of those games where you're playing them and you'll die, you'll get your ass handed to you, but then it's like strategy. How do I get through this level? How do I beat this boss? How do I beat this one freaking enemy?
That's what keeps you coming back. Like when it's hard and you got to figure it out, like you want to figure it out. Like you don't want to just put it down unless it's Cuphead, like we were talking a little bit earlier.
Yeah, we talked beforehand. Cuphead's a bitch, but it was fun, for what it was. So I think to kind of round this out, we said our pros. It works pretty well. It's a great game. It's probably my favorite of 2021 so far. What's your favorite game of 2021?
I mean, to be honest with you, I think my favorite of 2021, and this counts for 2020, is Miles Morales. But I think that it does come within the top 5 because I played a couple other games this year. Final Fantasy VII, I played that for the first time, the remake. I played Ratchet and Clank. I played I want to play some of that Bethesda game. I haven't played it yet. The Deathloop, I haven't played that yet.
Yep.
Really want to play that.
If you get it for like $40, I think it's like a really
good price. So see, it's not a $60 dropper, is it?
Yeah.
It's kind of
this one we bought for $60, and I would say it's worth it. Would you?
No, I think it's about a $40, $50 game. Look, I understand where they're going with the side scrolling, with the First of all, it is a very hard game, which makes it a longer game, because if it wasn't hard, you'd probably beat this game in 5 hours.
Probably.
But I think just with the graphic restrictions and the size growing, like, all right, can we bot this down to like $50? Like, can we get $10 back, Nintendo? It's always 60 for a new release.
But Nintendo always does that. And then their games never go on sale. And if they do, they'll go on sale for like 1 day or something. And
I think Breath of the Wild is still $50.
Yeah, I've seen it go to 30, but it's so rare when it does. So did you run into any issues when playing this game at all, or no?
Like graphical issues or technical bugs or anything? Or just like issues like I hate it. Okay, I guess for technical difficulties like glitches and bugs and things like that. No, I honestly have yet to fall into like a tech glitch or like Samus, disappearing, going through a random wall, or oh man, I fell through the floor and I didn't even do that. Like I have yet to go through any of that. My controller has a slight drifting issue, and oddly enough, it doesn't affect this game, which is weird. I'm like, oh, it must be that smooth to where drifting doesn't even really affect. The
that's good.
Movement must be locked in pretty well, so that's a good thing.
That's good.
Yeah, I haven't run into any tech issues. Okay. Only issue I would say is like I would love some kind of first-person pivot, and then it's long because of how hard it is.
Yeah,
like, it's like
I feel like I saw a speedrunner beat this game, I think 6 hours or something.
Oh, see, yeah, and it's
it's because they knew exactly what to do, where to go, and all that stuff.
Right. If it wasn't this difficulty, I think you could probably clip through it in about a day. But
but it's worth it for me. The only issue I ran into was when I docked it to play on the TV. The frame rate acted a little bit funky. But that was it. Like it couldn't hold. I don't know if it was like the TV's power or what, but it couldn't hold the frame rate that I was trying to run, and it actually runs better on the handheld, that I noticed.
I would think so, because it almost looks built for a handheld, and this and Fallout Shelter are the only 2 games I would say on Switch that run better on a handheld.
There you go.
I wonder if they're because I'm like, okay, Smash Bros runs better on TV. Most of them run better on TV.
But this is the one that I think if you're needing a game to like play on the go, this is like the best one. Pause it, and that's the great thing about the Switch. You power it down, you power it back up, it's right there. So I love in this game. What would be your score, Leo, out of 10?
Out of 10, I think I would go with the 8.5. I think it's a very solid game. I love the side-scrolling gameplay. Love how smooth it is. Love how easy it is for somebody who's not a huge Metroid fan to really sink their teeth into, because I get worried about some games that are like number 6, 7, 8 in the franchise and came back after 20 years. You never know what the requirements might be, but this is very low requirement, very easy for anybody to go in. It's casual, but it is hard as hell. So it does provide a good enough challenge that'll get you back in the game real quick. Very good game.
Hey, I feel that. So for me, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. Again, I still think this is probably my favorite game of 2021 so far. It's tied with Ratchet and Clank right now.
Okay, I was just going to ask. Over Ratchet?
The difference with Ratchet is I beat that game in like 2 days or so.
Really not a long game. Or
No,
hard,
no,
especially if you
and
don't have
that's a
the
lot of
hard.
things where like games like this, the difficulty brings me back, you
Mhm.
know.
Well, let
So
me ask you, when you're starting a new game like Ratchet and Clank or Kingdom Hearts or a game where you can pick the difficulty, do you go for the hardest first or do you go for like normal?
I go like middle of it, but
Okay.
even if I do, it still shouldn't be that. I think I died maybe like once from an actual enemy, but then like
See, the,
but when it comes to like falling and stuff, that's my fault.
oh man, I'll be real with you. I go straight for the hardest one. And that's why it takes me so
See,
long with
oh,
games.
okay. See, I feel that. I feel that. I do that usually on the second replay, if especially if it has like New
Yeah,
Game Plus, because then
good
you can run
idea.
through with everything. But yeah, that's our review of Metroid Dread. Let us know down below in the comments if you're watching us on YouTube if you guys enjoyed this. If you guys do, make sure to subscribe, like, and Leo, where can they find you?
Guys, you can find me over on YouTube. Just search up Geekly Goods and you'll see a red G and a gray G. That's me. And then if you're on TikTok, look me up at Leo.Rydell. Same handle on Instagram and then on Twitter at Leo_Rydell, where I'm tweeting half about food, half about movies, and a little bit about games. So come follow me and I'll see you next time.
Hell yeah. You guys can just find me at Zach Pope anywhere besides Twitter, because that was the only one that I didn't make Zach Pope. That one's at Pope the King. Don't ask why. Don't ask where. Follow us also on Twitter for Critics Play Pod to learn all about sorts of gaming news coming up. We try to do at least one video a week on here, and then we also are on audio only on pretty much anywhere you listen to in audio. So look up Critics Play Games. Follow us there. We're going to leave you guys out with the great outro.